All right, welcome back. Let's just quickly take a look at some of your tweets that you sent through at Morning Live SABC to the question, of course, what needs to be done to stop political killings in KZN. The first one from Humphrey Nyakura, and he says it's gone too far to be curbed. The top leaders should act and not just speak on television and sponsor hitmen during the night. Lebu says it is simple, proper policing. Police must actually work, arrest the killers. Hopefully it would deter other killers. Mudupi thinks that provincial government should stop tender system for a while, which he thinks is another cause of political killings in KwaZulu-Natal. Andile says people must be granted their democratic rights on appointing their own leaders. Reduce corruption first. Jonathan saying the ANC itself must unite in the KZN and end political killings. NEC of the ANC must interfere. The next one from SK Plus, the only thing that will end this is by removing the leading party and electing a new party in KZN. ANC members have no hope at all. Collins talks about stop awarding contracts and tenders to councillors or mayors. Then they will stop killing each other. Comrades are money hungry. That's according to Collins Shirinde. George is saying ANC must do things according to its constitution, values, etc. All right, keep those tweets coming at Morning Live SABC. Of course, the question that we're asking this morning is what needs to be done or what must be done to stop political killings in KwaZulu-Natal. And on that note, we have a debate coming up on the very same issue live from the KZN in itself. And our reporter there, Ayanda Mhlongo, is standing by to set the scene for us and tell us what to expect later here on the show. Ayanda, good morning to you.
Well, it's a very good morning to you and a good morning to our viewers at home. Yes, political killings has been the subject of many discussions and debates across the province of KwaZulu-Natal in all corners. That is the question that the communities of KwaZulu-Natal are asking the members of political parties, the political leaders, on how are we going to end this scourge of political killings, political assassinations in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Now, the past year has seen a resurgence of the political killings, and I just remember in the build-up to last year's local government election that was held on August 3rd, it was estimated that 14 people had been killed in the build-up to that election alone. This year, the figure stands from April this year that at least 10 political leaders at local government level have been killed. Now, it's become a major concern to the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and also to the people of this province, and they are seeking answers. They want to see an end to the scourge, be it inter-party, be it intra-party. It certainly also threatens the stability of this province, and people. It's also heightened fears. Concerning is what we've been hearing from councillors that are out in the communities, saying that they are afraid to now carry out their duties. We've heard from municipalities as well that service our communities at local government level, that even officials in municipalities are fear carrying out their duties, and also there's low morale. And who will become the victims of this at the end? And this is the ordinary people of South Africa. This is the ordinary people of KwaZulu-Natal. The province of KwaZulu-Natal, as many know, comes from a very dark history in the 80s and the early 90s of political violence that ravaged the province. It was a dark period, and certainly it's one that many are saying the province cannot afford to be plunged back into those dark days. Now, today we've got political parties that will be in discussion with. We've got representatives from the ANC, the SACP, the IFP, the NFP. But to kick off our discussion this morning, I'm joined by political analyst Lukhona Mnguni to shed some from that and give us his perspective. He's been following the developments in the province. Let me bring in Lukhona now. Lukhona, good morning and thank you very much for your time. Certainly we should be discussing matters of development and improving the lives, but sadly this is an obstacle that in order for the province to get to matters of development, they have to get through this. It's a major concern. Lukhona, if from your understanding the developments of the political killings of late, remember in the 80s and the 90s we spoke of mass killings. These were mass attacks. We've seen now a different modus operandi, to say, where the killings have become more targeted. They are direct. These are assassinations on individuals.
Yeah, I mean, certainly the modus operandi has changed, and that's because the nature of our politics has changed. We're now dealing with parties that are in government in a democratic dispensation, but there are certain things that are a threat to some individuals. I mean, there are a number of layers that drive these political killings. I mean, the first is really entrepreneurial politics. So people want to be in politics because it is a form of business, and by that we mean it is the easiest way, especially in local government, to actually get a well-paying job in that sense. But of course, on the other hand, we see political killings driven by an whistleblower tendency, where people who are fighting corruption in these local municipalities are being shut down when they bring evidence to the fore. Remember that the Auditor General, in as many times as he has published those audits on municipalities, we always expect that municipalities will perform poorly. But that's only what the Auditor General can tell us. But we need whistleblowers, we need men and women who are of certain courage, who would tell the nation this is exactly what is happening in these local councils. But what we see is that targeting of whistleblowers, but not only the councillors. We've seen municipal managers as well in this province being killed, for example, in Richmond in recent months. So you have a sense where the fight against corruption is met by serious violence. Of course, I mean, there's been waves, and these waves are in two forms. The first wave is local government elections. So if you go back to 2011 elections, and that talks to how political parties run processes internally within those political parties. And then the other wave has been in conference years, and this is mostly in the ruling party, the African National Congress. 2012 conference and this conference has invited some sense of political killings. There was a time when the NFP broke away from the IFP that we saw inter-party and intra within the NFP when they were trying to set up their own political structures and choose leadership. So literally you are talking, because now these parties are in government, so you are probably looking at democracy under siege potentially if this matter is not brought to rest.
You're speaking about that. I mean, of recent now, the violence has been the ANC, one could say, versus the ANC. Local government election, at local government level, as you were saying, that was is the biggest concern as well.
Of course, certainly that is the biggest concern. I mean, you even listen to the MEC for Kokta in the province when she talks after a politically motivated alleged killing. She will even talk about how big a sacrifice people are making to become councillors because of the imminent threat that seems to manifest in their lives. Now, this tells you something, that we are potentially at a time of crisis, because generally councillors are people that must do service delivery without fear or favour.
Lukhona, thanks very much. I'm going to stop you there for now. We'll continue with our discussions. We're going to take things now to Johannesburg with the news.